do people come to you then and say, look, this is something I want to work on, or is that it's almost a process of discovery during treatment?
Well, definitely. So one of the different therapists in my field vary about how much they take a medical history. For me, one of the things that's helpful to know is if there's any reason why I shouldn't do craniosacral therapy or Reiki on people. And generally there isn't. But, let's say they've recently had surgery on their neck or their head or something like that. You might want to be careful about whether you're actually going to put your hands on your head. Under those circumstances, you might want to use energy or you might not want to work at all. And you really have to go with that. But other than that, what I tend to do is... I go right with what people tell me at first. So, in my experience, when somebody comes in and they have something that they want help with, it might be related to other things, it might not, but I don't need to necessarily know how it's related. I don't take a history about what are the diseases you've had, what are the accidents you've had. So they'll say, hi, and I'll say, okay, well, take off your shoes, sit on the table, and I'll start scanning you as you speak. And so usually, I'll literally have people at the table in maybe a minute. And then they'll start saying what it is. It's like, so, what's bugging you? Is there anything in particular that you'd like assistance with? And they'll start talking about whatever it is that brought them in. And as they speak, certain words that they say will sort of set off some of those significance detectors. And I'll go right with what they say, and and then I'll do this other technique which is called arcing, which is sort of feeling with my hands where I'm supposed to start out. Mm-hmm. And I'll put my hands in that spot and see what happens. And so it's totally discovery from there. Once somebody's come in and they've told me that first thing that they're trying to work with, and you really do always want to come back to that because that is what the client is asking for assistance with. But sometimes there might be things that will come up like, as we're talking about this, they'll say, oh yeah, and that reminds me of the accident I had when I was 13 years old and my knees got destroyed. And as they say that, there's this big significance detector, and maybe you'll go to their knees and see what happens. And a lot of times the body will just be like, yeah, see, it is related. And that's sort of the experience that you have when you treat, is that you never know what something's going to be related to. The body will tell you, and a lot of times the speech and the images that come up will tell you what's related to what. And then you come back to what it is that they're specifically working on. And that's sort of how the healing process works, is it's very personal. It's always different from person to person. It's always based on their own kind of individual person space.